My name is Maria Orozco. I'm 22 years old and I'm Delta Corps.
My name is Cortez Moss and I am a 2012 Delta Corps member and I am 22 years old.
I'm Shantae Shale. I'm 22 years old and I'm part of the Delta Corps for TFA 2012.
I'm Joshua Wright and I am 21 years old and I am a 2012 Corps member of the Mississippi Delta.
And my name is Laura Schirkenbach. I am 22 years old and I am in the Mississippi Delta Corps.
I'm Patrick Newman, I'm 21 years old and I'm Mississippi Delta Corps.
My name's Anna Orsini, I'm 22 years old and I'm a member of the Mississippi Delta Corps.
Hi, my name is Jean-Luc Adrien, I'm 22 years old and I'm part of the Delta Corps.
Hi, my name is Jalay Sidravi and I'm 25 years old and I am in the Mississippi Delta Corps.
My name is Randy Rotundo, I'm 30 years old and I'm in the Delta Corps.
My name is Mickey Lewis and I'm 44 and I'm at the Delta Corps 2012.
My name is Devin George, I'm 22 years old and I am teaching 9th and 10th English at Bearden Elementary.
I'm at Green and McNair, but it's McNair because Green is the elementary school. 7th grade ELA.
I am teaching 11th grade English at Simmons High School in Hollandale, Mississippi.
I am teaching biology at Eastside High School in Cleveland, Mississippi.
I am currently at Eastside High School teaching entering 9th grade mathematics with mostly 8th grade, so they've passed the 8th grade but they're prepping for the 9th grade.
I'm teaching at Lyon Elementary School and I'm teaching math for entering 7th graders.
Working at Quitman County Elementary School, I'm teaching 5th grade math right now.
I'm teaching entering 7th grade English Language Arts at Simmons High School in Hollandale.
I'm teaching actually at Eastside High School, English 2 and grades live at 10th, 11th. We're expecting 12th graders, but we got 10th and 11th graders.
I am teaching at Greenville Weston High School in Greenville, Mississippi. I'm teaching English to incoming 10th graders.
So I'm working at Greenville Weston, teaching algebra combined with biology.
I am at Greenville Weston, which is actually one of 2 high schools. They split the school. They kind of joined everybody together and then split the school. And I'm teaching students going into or entering 7th grade.
It's pretty horrible. I taught Tuesday and Thursday. I was threatened by my kids. I was verbally accosted. I had kids leave my classroom. Surprise is an understatement. Even the kid who was at the top of her game and she was dropping SAT vocabulary, she was still reading 2 or 3 years beneath grade level. I had seniors in there who were reading at like a 6th grade level. There are huge chunks in comprehension that are just gone. My kids have an inability to like look at sentences and tell me what they just read. And I'm here trying to like teach them comprehension and dramatic irony and like situational humor. It's really just hard to do that.
I was really surprised by the range of scores. The assessment that we gave, we had to give 2. So the McLeod, which was the first one that allowed us to know what exam to give them the next day. I had someone score 6, which is about a 2nd grade reading level. And then I had someone score a 50, which was a 6th grade reading level. So that in itself is like a huge, huge gap.
My students had an assessment to take at the beginning and they took one the next day. So day 2 they took an assessment. And in looking at my data, I recognized that my students didn't take it seriously. Did not answer essay questions. So I immediately went back to those students and I said, all right, you take this home, you take it again. They took the assessment home, answered the multiple choice questions, did not answer the essay questions, and we had a conversation about how not answering essay questions is unacceptable. And the essay questions went right back home with them. And they've never had anyone to say, hey, you didn't complete this, you're going to do it again. And yet they come back on Monday and that essay question is not complete, they're going to get it again. My teaching team, we've all said that we will get essay questions out of these students. It doesn't matter how many times we have to send it to them because no one has taught them, no one has expected them to do that.
It took them a really long time to do the test, which was great because I feel like they put some effort into it, but the scores were really low. Like they got 11% for a lot of the units or the objectives for Mississippi, and I'm really excited about teaching them, but I don't want it to be so much information to scrunch into such a short period of time for summer school because I don't want them to feel overwhelmed by the information.
My first day went really well. It went better than I expected, but one thing was interesting is that my students weren't very excited about coming to school. I mean, I assumed so, it's summer school, but when they actually got up and we started doing name games, they actually seemed to open up a lot more.
So this day is only the third day of teaching. Feels a lot longer. And my day. Today was the day I felt angry for the first time. Really for the first time. I found out that my 6th graders who are in summer school to enter 7th grade lack the ability to multiply and divide. We're talking about percents. They don't know what a percent is. They can't do long division. They just lack the tools. And I was so frustrated, and not at them. I was so frustrated for them. I was so frustrated that the school system had failed them, that other individuals had failed them, because these students want to learn. They really do.
I graded the math. Math scores were not that great at all. There's only one objective that they mastered. All the rest they failed pretty badly, so we got a lot of work ahead of us for the summer school.
I don't think I ever could have been prepared for these last 5 days. It has been everything from like amazing and inspiring and empowering to like completely I can't do this, you know, I'm incompetent. Like I have just felt the biggest flood of emotions this first week of teaching.
In my classroom, though, a girl introduced herself as being an honor student, and that she just was there just to increase her, I guess, her knowledge of literary devices is what she said. So I was pretty glad to see her there. And I was glad to see all my students, but just the fact that she took the initiative was pretty cool.
I have only 5 students in my class. Started out with 6, but I only have 5, so I think it's a different experience than some people are having at Institute, because most people have bigger classrooms than 5 students. But it's really given the opportunity for me to work closely with each student and get to know them on a much more personal level. And I know what each of them need. I am able to give each of them equal amount of support during my lessons. So there are definitely benefits to having a smaller classroom.
We finished grading the exams today and they were pretty disappointing, so most of them didn't even get halfway through it, meaning I don't think they were even, you know, like taking it seriously.
I mean, it was kind of a guessing game. But yet the sentences were not complex, the stories were not complex. They actually were below their age level. And I know that these assessments are supposedly chosen and they're, you know, there's all kinds of rubrics done in studies and so on and so forth. I just didn't feel it was fair. And I have a learning disability, and I mean, there was nothing in those assessments that would make it possible for someone, had I been their age, with a learning disability, to pass that test.
There's very little time to teach. I teach 90-minute blocks, and it would go well until like minute 40 or minute 50, and then stuff just went downhill from there. I had behavior management issues that, like, frankly, behavior narration doesn't work with. The kids who were responsible on both days for doing this type of stuff were 9th grade football players, and the idea that they would take responses or cues because other people were getting these cues of, like, oh, Jamarius is sitting well, or Shanna is sitting well, that doesn't, it struck them as silly, and that's what started the whole, like, downward spiral into, like, threatening me.
So I think my ultimate goal is to instill this kind of like self-learning sort of thing, where they're not doing it for me. Like, I want it to really be about them.
I think the biggest challenge in my classroom is investment. We have a huge challenge with our students being investment, really getting them to connect that this summer experience is about creating pathways to opportunity. My students struggle with understanding that why they're at summer school, and so that's a unique situation for me and my teaching team, for us to try to figure out how do we get students to understand that the experience we're offering them this summer is one that will create opportunities for them long term and will really put them on a successful path for going to college and completing high school.
I'm a little bit nervous that we don't have academic intervention time, because I think that's really important for the students to have that and that one-on-one attention for the subjects that they are struggling with.
There was one student who showed up halfway through the day into our name game, and so obviously we marked him tardy, but he was the troublemaker. So you're always going to have that one student that's going to be that troublemaker, and I think people need to realize that it's not every student, it's just that one student, and you need to control that one student so that that doesn't get out of hand. And ultimately you have to consequence them, and it can be hard because you know that they're good kids down deep, but you have to make sure that that one person's behavior doesn't affect everybody else's learning.
I just felt frustrated at myself today that I didn't know how to explain to them what a proportion was so they could understand it. To me, I take these things for granted. I have a college education, I can do basic math. It's not something I really had to fight for. I didn't have to fight for my right for a good education.
It's more than a job. I don't even know what to call it, but it's so necessary. And then as far as like me actually teaching, that was a trip. I have spent a lot of time doing recreational activities with kids, so like camp and after school programs and stuff, but like being in front of a classroom and being in charge of kids and needing them to follow what I say and be obedient was, I don't think I ever could have been prepared for that either. I had a very, very hard time controlling my classroom and delivering my lessons, but I feel like I have learned more in the last 5 days than I learned in like 4 years of college.
I really want to see the kids excited about what we're doing, the texts that we're going over. I want to see them participate and willingly, actually even more than willingly. I want them to be really excited about it. But the main thing though definitely has to be, in terms of academic growth, I want them to reach their goals and actually even surpass them, at least reach their goals, their growth goals. But I also do want to see them grow in terms of like personally, if that makes sense.
I've had a very positive experience in Institute so far, and this is just making me, it's helping me prepare to be in front of a classroom of larger numbers, but also I'm just excited to get to know the students that I'll be working with for 2 years, because I've only been working at Greenville for a couple weeks now, but I've already made really great connections with some of my students, so it's going to be hard leaving them in a week and 2 weeks, you know what I mean? But
my greatest hope for them is that they start to see going to school as something that can be fun. It's a wonderful environment to be in if you have a teacher who really wants you to talk and share your ideas.
What do you do if forget like, you know, writing like Shakespeare or learning any of Blake's sonnets? What do you do if your kids can't just look at sentences and just tell you what is happening? And they're just, you know, the achievement gap isn't a gap, it's multiple gaps. There are so many huge gaps that just you could drive a tractor trailer through, and it really is just savage just what happened or didn't happen in the first 11 years of teaching that has, you know, seniors in my class unable to like write a complete sentence or tell me what happened in a single sentence, even if like I reread it 5 times to them.